Today we're diving into a fundamental question for any car enthusiast or prospective buyer. What's the difference between petrol, diesel, and gasoline engines? First, let's clear up a common point of confusion. Petrol and gasoline are essentially the same thing. Petrol is the term commonly used in British English, while gasoline is the standard in American English. Both refer to a highly volatile, refined petroleum fuel designed for spark ignition engines. Diesel, on the other hand, is a different type of fuel. It is less volatile and more energy-dense than gasoline. This difference in fuel properties dictates a completely different engine design and operating principle, which we will explore in detail. The choice between these engine types has significant implications. It affects everything from your car's acceleration and top speed to its fuel economy and maintenance costs. It even influences its environmental footprint. Understanding the core mechanics behind each one is the first step to making an informed decision. A gasoline engine, for example, typically uses a spark plug to ignite its fuel-air mixture. This process allows for higher engine speeds, or RPMs. A diesel engine, however, operates on a principle of compression ignition. It squeezes the air until it becomes hot enough to ignite the fuel spontaneously without needing a spark. This fundamental difference in ignition method leads to a cascade of design variations. Gasoline engines can be built lighter because they don't have to withstand the immense pressures of compression ignition. Their components, like pistons and connecting rods, can be less robust. Diesel engines, by necessity, are built like fortresses. We will break down how these differences translate to the driving experience. So, the question isn't just about what you put in the tank. It's about the intricate engineering that defines how your vehicle behaves on the road. Are you looking for the quick, high-revving thrill of a sports car, or do you need the relentless low-end pulling power of a heavy-duty truck? Perhaps you prioritize maximum fuel efficiency for a long daily commute. Each engine type excels in different areas, and by the end of this discussion, you'll have a much clearer picture of which mechanical heart best suits your specific needs. Let's get into the mechanics. Both gasoline and diesel engines typically operate on a 4-stroke cycle: intake, compression, power, and exhaust. The magic happens in how they execute the power stroke. In a gasoline engine, the process starts with the intake stroke. The piston moves down, drawing a precise mixture of air and gasoline vapor into the cylinder. Next comes the compression stroke, where the piston moves up, squeezing this mixture. The compression ratio in a typical gasoline engine might be around 10:1, meaning the mixture is compressed to 1/10 of its original volume. This prepares it for ignition. At the very peak of the compression stroke, the spark plug does its job. It generates a high-voltage electrical spark that ignites the compressed fuel-air mixture. This creates a controlled explosion, a rapid expansion of hot gases that forces the piston down with great force. This is the power stroke, the event that turns the crankshaft and ultimately sends power to the wheels. Finally, the exhaust stroke begins as the piston moves back up, pushing the burnt gases out of the cylinder through the exhaust valve. This 4-stroke cycle happens thousands of times per minute, creating the smooth power we expect. Now let's look at the diesel engine cycle. The intake stroke is different from the start. The piston moves down, but it draws in only air, no fuel. The compression stroke is where the diesel's unique character emerges. The piston moves up and compresses this air to a much higher ratio, often between 16:1 and 22:1. This extreme compression makes the air incredibly hot, reaching temperatures of over 540 degrees Celsius, or about 1,000 degrees Fahrenheit. It's this intense heat, generated purely from compression, that will be used to ignite the fuel. No spark plug is needed for this part of the process. At the top of the compression stroke, with the air superheated, fuel injectors spray a fine mist of diesel fuel directly into the cylinder. The moment the diesel fuel hits the hot air, it ignites spontaneously. This combustion event forces the piston down, creating the power stroke. Just like the gasoline engine, the cycle completes with the exhaust stroke, where the piston pushes the spent gases out. This method of compression ignition is why diesel engines are so efficient. The higher compression ratio allows them to extract more energy from every drop of fuel compared to their gasoline counterparts. When we talk about performance, we often hear the terms horsepower and torque. A gasoline engine is typically the king of horsepower. Because it can be built with lighter components and doesn't rely on high compression for ignition, it can operate at much higher revolutions per minute. Horsepower is a measure of work over time, calculated as torque multiplied by RPM. Therefore, a high-revving engine will generally produce high horsepower figures. This translates to a feeling of speed and rapid acceleration at the higher end of the rev range, which is why gasoline engines are favored for sports cars and performance vehicles. Diesel engines, in contrast, are the undisputed champions of torque, especially at low RPM. Torque is the rotational force an engine produces. Think of it as twisting or pulling power. The long stroke of a diesel piston and the powerful sustained push from compression ignition create immense twisting force right from idle. This is why a large truck can pull a heavy trailer away from a standstill without much effort. The power delivery is a strong, continuous surge rather than a frantic rush to a high RPM. You feel this torque as a muscular shove in your back when you press the accelerator. This difference in power delivery defines the driving experience. A gasoline-powered car often feels more agile and responsive, encouraging you to rev the engine out to access its peak power. The engine note is often higher pitched and more exciting as it climbs through the revs. Driving a diesel is a more relaxed affair. There is no need to chase high RPMs. The power is readily available down low. This makes for effortless cruising on the highway, as the engine can maintain speed at very low revs, which also contributes to its excellent fuel economy. Overtaking is often achieved with a gentle press of the throttle, letting the wave of torque do the work. Ultimately, the choice comes down to the desired character of the vehicle. If your goal is top-end speed and the thrill of a high-revving engine, gasoline is the way to go. Its ability to generate horsepower at speed is unmatched. However, if your priority is pulling heavy loads, effortless highway cruising, or simply having immense power available instantly without downshifting, the low-end torque of a diesel engine is far superior. It's not about which is better overall, but which is better suited for the specific task at hand, whether that's a day at the racetrack or a cross-country haul. Reliability and maintenance are absolutely critical factors in long-term ownership. Diesel engines have a well-earned reputation for longevity, and that's really a direct result of their construction. To withstand the extremely high compression ratios, diesel engine blocks, cylinders, pistons, and crankshafts are built to be incredibly robust, often made from heavier, stronger materials. This sort of over-engineering means they are generally under less stress during normal operation, relative to their maximum tolerance. It's honestly not uncommon to see diesel engines in trucks and commercial vehicles last for hundreds of thousands or even over 1 million miles with proper care. However, this robustness does come with its own set of maintenance considerations. While the core engine is durable, the high-pressure fuel systems and complex emissions control systems on modern diesels can be expensive to repair. Fuel injectors operating at immense pressures and diesel particulate filters (DPFs) require periodic service or replacement. Oil changes are also crucial and may be required more frequently, often using a specific, more expensive grade of oil designed to handle the soot produced during diesel combustion. Ignoring this maintenance can lead to very costly failures down the line, which could offset some of the fuel savings. Gasoline engines, while perhaps not as legendary for extreme mileage, are still highly reliable and have a significant maintenance advantage. Their components are lighter, and the operating pressures are lower, which can mean less wear on certain parts over time. More importantly, the technology is more common in passenger cars, meaning parts are widely available and generally less expensive. Mechanics are universally familiar with them, making repairs simpler and more affordable. Routine maintenance like changing spark plugs is a relatively cheap and straightforward job that most owners can learn to do themselves. The key takeaway here is a trade-off between ultimate durability and maintenance complexity. A well-maintained diesel engine will likely outlast a comparable gasoline engine, making it an excellent investment for high-mileage drivers or commercial use. However, the owner must be diligent with maintenance, which can be more specialized and costly. A gasoline engine offers a lower barrier to entry for maintenance, with cheaper parts and more straightforward service procedures. For the average driver covering a typical number of miles per year, the simplicity and lower repair costs of a gasoline engine often make it the more practical choice. Now we arrive at the final decision. Which engine should you choose? The answer depends entirely on your driving habits and priorities. For the typical city driver who makes frequent short trips, a gasoline engine is almost always the superior choice. Gasoline engines warm up faster, which is better for the engine on short journeys. Furthermore, the complex emission systems on modern diesel engines, particularly the diesel particulate filter or DPF, need long hot runs on the highway to regenerate or clean themselves. Constant short-distance city driving can clog these filters, leading to expensive repairs. If your life involves long-distance travel and extensive highway miles, the diesel engine becomes a very compelling option. This is where a diesel truly shines. Its incredible low-end torque makes for relaxed, effortless cruising, and its superior fuel efficiency means you'll be making far fewer stops at the fuel station. A diesel engine operating at a steady highway speed is in its element. It's efficient, under-stressed, and the DPF will have plenty of opportunities to stay clean. For anyone commuting long distances or embarking on frequent road trips, the fuel savings and comfortable driving dynamics can easily justify the higher initial purchase price. For those who need to do serious work, such as towing heavy trailers, hauling large payloads, or operating commercial vehicles, diesel is the undisputed champion. There is simply no substitute for the immense low RPM torque that a diesel engine produces. This is the force that gets heavy loads moving and pulls them up steep grades without straining the engine. The inherent durability and longevity of diesel engines also make them the preferred choice for vehicles that are expected to work hard day in and day out for many years. The robust construction is designed precisely for this kind of demanding application. In summary, your choice is a practical one. Analyze your needs honestly. A gasoline engine offers great all-around performance, lower maintenance costs, and is ideal for city driving and those seeking a sporty, high-revving experience. A diesel engine is the master of efficiency and torque, making it perfect for long-distance commuters, road trippers, and anyone with heavy-duty towing or hauling needs. By matching the engine's inherent strengths to your specific use case, you can ensure you get a vehicle that not only meets your expectations, but also proves to be a reliable and cost-effective partner for the road ahead.